were off the Gage train, and seems like you still are. So what are you going to grade him for his 11 goals, 22 assists, and 74 games played?
D.
Why do you hate Gage?
Every goal, feel the thunder in your soul. We are the thunder, hear the cannons roar. Pirate flags wave from the deck to the shore. Lightning strikes, feel the ice crack under. Boston's in town, but we bring the thunder. The mic to the ring, from the bay to the roar. We the Thunder Podcast, give us more. Raise your swords, let the storm roll through. Tampa Bay hockey, this night's for you.
Schooley on the sound, breaking every play while the crowd.
Welcome to We the Thunder. My name is Robert Shute. My friends call me Shooter.
I don't know shit all else about anything else, but I know my game of hockey.
With me is the illustrious Thomas Schooley. I'm the only one that calls him the professor.
Who knew that I was going to go a little bit deaf?
Who knew? Thomas Schooley is deaf.
Because I'm old, according to him.
One of those clips was from our show with Phil Esposito. One of those is from the radio. a now retired ad, I believe, because I think they swapped it out. Here we are, a couple weeks after the Lightning season has ended. Our last show, we were very upset because we lost a Game 7 at home. Dare I say, in historic fashion, only letting the Montreal Canadiens take 9 shots on net. But we've seen that happen throughout the playoffs to the Canadiens, and they keep winning games. They're playing right now. So we thought we'd jump on here and talk about some of the Lightning news that's happened. We'll talk a little bit about the NHL playoffs. I see Beverly in the chat already. We are going to talk about Sam O'Reilly and some other guys. Tate's in the chat already. We're on the big screen. Uh-oh. Hopefully not in 4K, because we ain't built for 4K. So,
and I got clothes below this desk, so
I hope so. Before I forget, because this is something I will forget, we posted last week. If you saw our intro as you wait here for the stream to start, it needs an upgrade. So I asked people to start sending me some pictures and videos from themselves at Lightning games or Lightning events. And I've already got a whole bunch. So if you want to potentially be included, just know that if you send us any picture, it might end up on that screen. So you can send that to WeTheThunderPodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to include you in that show intro for next season. Schooley, you handsome dog. Mike Douglas is drinking already. All right. Well, you and I hadn't really talked except for like the 10 minutes before we jumped on here. And I asked you if you'd been watching any of the playoffs since we got outed. And it sounds like you have. What are your thoughts so far? We've got a Stanley Cup team already, and we've got 2 teams left in the East.
So happy Montreal beat Buffalo. I was one of the few people that wanted Montreal to beat Buffalo. Buffalo's fans, I thought Montreal's fans are assholes, but Buffalo's fans were entitled assholes. They thought for sure this was their season, the first time they get in it in a long-ass time, and they were all over X, all over everybody's posts, talking about how they were going to win the Stanley Cup. This was their time. This was their year. And they're going to go home with just probably the Jack Adams trophy for their team. That's it. So I was happy to see. Now I want Carolina to beat Montreal. Usually I always say I want the team that eliminates the Lightning to win the Stanley Cup, because you can always say, well, we lost to the Stanley Cup champion, but I want to see Carolina take it. And on the other side of the ice, who knew Vegas would just dismantle Colorado after that showing they had with the Anaheim Ducks? I mean, you thought with the showing of the Anaheim Ducks that Vegas was very beatable, and then Carolina got stomped. Second time Tortorella has swept a president-winning trophy team. The Tampa Bay Lightning.
Oh, yeah, we remember that one. It's that President's Trophy curse, man, and it bit them hard. I mean, would you rather get swept in the first round or make it all the way to the conference finals and get swept? And they had a lot of bad luck too, because McCarr's definitely hurt. McKinnon got hurt in game 3, which wasn't a serious injury, played in game 4, but obviously it hasn't helped them out because they just could not get anything offensively going last night. So yeah, kind of a surprise. Vegas coming out of the West, and it's just one of those cases where you hit the hot, like the jackpot, because their team's hot. I see the Mike in the chat here, Carter Hart. Yeah, I mean, that's a hot goalie right now, and that's what you want in the playoffs, and they've got a lot of momentum, Vegas. And I'm just curious how Lightning fans thought about the matchups here for the Eastern and Western Conference Finals. Let's see if this matches up. Oh, it does. So we did a vote, what was this, 23rd last weekend. So Vegas, most Lightning fans, assuming Lightning fans were voting on this, we didn't get a ton of votes, under 100. But Vegas wins over Colorado, and then Carolina over Montreal. I think most Lightning fans are not in your boat of let's see Montreal go on and win it after that series. I don't hate them that much. I wasn't mad at them. I wouldn't have been. The reason why I didn't want them to win the Stanley Cup, and I guess they still could, is I don't know. I kind of like it not being in Canada. Let's at least keep it in the Southeast. I'm fine with either Carolina or Vegas winning. I feel like maybe I would push a little bit more for Carolina, who is winning right now in the first period of, what is that, game 4? So they could go up 3-1 if they win tonight, and they're in good position to do that. Carolina is just one of those teams that's been circling the wagon for so long now. It seems like about 10 years. Like, they're due. They're really due. They've got a good team, and it won't be easy for them to win this last game. It won't be easy for them to beat Vegas, but it's been a good playoffs. I still think the format sucks. Like, us getting out in the first round, I didn't think we were a first round exit team, but here we are. And seeing some of these series that were not that great in the second and third round, including Colorado going out as a bust, getting swept, was not very exciting. I was hoping to watch a little more Western Conference Finals this weekend, but it's over.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stories behind Vegas. I mean, Tortorella coming in for the playoffs to save the day. Carter Hart, who was on trial and basically kicked off at Philadelphia, where Tortorella was the coach at, gets acquitted for all of his trial, all the sexual assault in Canada trial, signs with Vegas. Vegas goes everywhere, and there's people holding signs up about him being a rapist, and she said no and everything else, which still, it's a little fuzzy, the whole thing, if you've seen all the stuff. But then, how about Mitch Marner? What a big stick it to you, Toronto, this would be if he ends up winning a Stanley Cup.
Well, he might win the
Yeah, and win the Conn Smythe while he's at it. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about Eichel right now being the favorite to win it, but I could see Mitch Marner winning it too. But that's a big FU to Toronto if he comes back and wins a Stanley Cup his first year out of there.
Well, I know the instant reaction from a lot of people was, it's time to move on from Kucherov, but it's a good story to look at. Mitch Marner and what he's done on a different team, and like I said when we signed off on the last show, Kuch actually played better this playoffs than he has in the last playoffs. Like, he was almost non-existent in the last couple playoffs, but at least he was a point per game in this playoffs. So I still don't think you get rid of Kuch. Who knows what JBB has planned in the offseason? It sure sounded like, because he does his kind of like State of the Union with the media, and as many players do, as we saw Hedman and heard from Hedman, which we haven't talked about yet. But it didn't sound like JBB was too keen on moving off of the Nikita Kucherov train just yet. But they got to do something with him. It's time to re-sign him if they're going to keep him. So see what happens the next couple weeks.
Toronto's ready to get rid of Matthews.
Yeah, I mean, I would take Matthews off their hands if they'd like to.
Bring him to an
Although
American team.
he also seems to be like a player that doesn't show up in the big time games. Like, remember for Team USA, it was kind of like, all right, dude, where you at? But I don't know. He's still a great player. Kind of guy you want on your roster. So I doubt Toronto will make that mistake again unless they went into like a full rebuild mode, which I don't think they're going to do with some of the players they have. Although, besides Matthews and Tavares, who's getting old, and Nylander, like, who else they really got?
Yeah, you got to think Tavares is probably on his way out.
Here's the rumor I
After that.
keep hearing. Orozco's brought up here. Nick Paul seems to be on the trade block. You good with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and we'll get to it when we talk about the prospects. I was chatting with Tate about it earlier today. You still have a lot of guys under contract. We don't have a bunch of UFAs or RFAs that are going to hit the books here this summer. So they're going to have to figure out a way to move some players because, as we'll talk about with some of these prospects, we've got some really good young players that are really making a lot of noise wherever they're playing, whether it's in the OHL or overseas in Finland. Even we've got a guy over in Russia that I've got some notes on who's one of the top defenders in Russia. So I don't know. We don't need to rebuild, but I feel like after watching Buffalo and watching Montreal, these are teams that are definitely faster than us. And I think youth has something to do with that. And I think it's time to really give some of these guys a shot. And we'll pull up stats and everything.
I said that to Coburn that I thought that this Montreal team reminded me of the Lightning 2015-26 Stanley Cup team. And that was when you had a young Tyler Johnson, young Andre Palat, young Nikita Kucherov, younger Stamkos, younger Hedman, younger Yanni Gord. It's Braden Point. You see these young teams and doing what they're doing, and you have to see the writing on the wall is that it's youth. It's a youth game now. The game has gotten so fast that it used to be more about the defense. I don't think it's all about the defense anymore. I think it's your goalie and your speed.
Well, and there's a lot of teams that are really, and this has happened the last couple of years we've been talking about, there's a lot of teams that are going to this two goalie tandem. Instead of paying $10 million for a goalie, get two guys in there to switch back and forth. I just don't like that when it comes to this time of year. And then you're like, hey, this guy let in a bad goal, and we're going to start the other guy. And I just don't like the changing goalies like that every other game. But the teams that have done it right, like Boston, well, even Boston kind of screwed with Swayman and Olmark and went back and forth. Like, the way to do it is you go into the playoffs, you got to pick one guy. And if that guy falters or it's desperation time, then go to the other guy. But I don't think that's a problem the Tampa Bay Lightning have to worry about. So
No, sorry, Mike Douglas had sent me this. This was a pretty interesting stat he sent. Capitals, 43 wins, no playoffs. Islanders, 43 wins, no playoffs. New Jersey Devils, 42 wins, no playoffs. Red Wings, 41 wins, no playoffs. Blue Jackets, 40 wins, no playoffs. Panthers, 40 wins, no playoffs. Sharks, 39 wins, no playoffs. Vegas, 39 wins, Stanley Cup final.
crazy.
Yeah, Vegas had one of the worst records of anybody going into the playoffs. There was 8 teams better than them that didn't make the playoffs, but because they were in an Eastern Conference or lost on the tiebreaker.
They're in the weakest division in the league. You just got to get in. And I mean, you can't deny their record since Torts got there. I mean, he's earning himself an extension there for sure. I don't think they already announced it, but It's got to be coming.
No, they haven't. As a matter of fact, they've blocked teams from talking to their old coach. Oilers being one
That's
of
a dick
them.
move.
That is, but they said that they didn't want a distraction. But one of the teams that they did ask for permission was the Oilers, and of course, they're not gonna let the Oilers have their old coach.
Yeah, yeah. The other thing that happened, and this was last round, was Torts and the team declined any media after the game, and Torts got a hefty fine for that. The team got penalized. I think the biggest thing was like a second round pick. It's pretty serious.
Yeah.
So I think they learned their lesson from that one.
And then they came out after they appealed it, and after their appeal, they came out, the GM and Tortorella, and took responsibility and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, we shouldn't have done that."
It was all Torts, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yes, for sure, for
I
sure. It was
saw-
like- well, there was one interview with Mitch Marner, and I forget who else it was, and they're like, "Guys, the bus will leave in 10 minutes, and Torts will leave without us. So questions quickly." And someone said something about he wouldn't leave you guys, and they said yes, he would. And we've heard that story before, where who was it that like someone was not on the bus and the bus was leaving and they're like running to go get it. I think Dinger told us that story one time
Yeah, I do remember something like that.
where like somebody wasn't awake or someone wasn't making it and they were like going to the guy's house and getting them. So yeah.
All right. Well, let's. Well, I guess I'll ask this: Who's gonna win it? Are you going with Vegas?
No, I think Carolina.
I'm with you. I want Carolina to win it. Vegas has the thing that, like, I have nothing against Vegas. A lot of people in the NHL, they just don't like Vegas because they just, came out of nowhere, haven't even been around for 10 years and have been so good. And that does piss me off. Like, you got to earn it. Remember?
And that they always find money to get everybody available.
Well, that's just good business. I don't know how they still do it. Like, if you look at that roster, it's just like, wait a minute, how they got that guy too? Like, and the thing you'll notice about the games now is it's all four lines. All these teams that are winning, when they win these games, it's all four line. It's the big dogs that are getting it done. It's also the fourth liners, like you saw it was Vegas last night that had a couple fourth line goals. I'm with you though. Let's go Carolina. Let's keep the cup like kind of in the South. Carolina's the South, so I'm on that train, even though they're in our conference. But go Carolina. It's been a long time. They won it right after we did, didn't they? 06?
Yes.
So yeah, it's been 20 years. And like I said, you got to earn it, right? Buffalo, you're not going to come in here, have one good year and win and waltz your way to the Stanley Cup, all right? That's not how this works. You got to go through some pain like we did for a long time. And we had good pain too. We were losing in Eastern Conference Finals game 7s, right? So I feel like Carolina's been through it. Definitely. They've been to a lot of these Eastern Conference Finals, and actually their performances in the Eastern Conference Finals have been absolutely horrible. So it looks like the chat's with me. If you're out there watching, let me know if you don't think Carolina, if you're going to go Vegas, or you think Montreal is going to pull this one off. The thing that is crazy about Montreal is I was always talking about like how lucky they are with like puck luck and a lot of their goals. And that was in our series. But you've seen the same thing throughout all their games. Like, they only had like 13 or 14 shots the other night and still should have won that game in overtime. Like, they're a tough team to play. If they can figure out how to get a little bit more dangerous offensively, and they will, because they're going to have people that are going to want to go play there. They're going to have people that are going to want to go play for Marty. That would be the other cool thing to see in a finals.
Yeah, the only thing is you tend to see like that second year of the goalie, like Dobash. They usually have enough video on him now that they tend to solve him. I mean, you look at some of the past goalies. Yeah, you look at some of the past goalies. I can't think of that one that was in Detroit a couple years ago and then went to Carolina. He was like unstoppable in Detroit, and then they solved him the next year, and then he never really became anything again.
Is that who it was?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, and he was like a Dobash. Yeah, Wall. I see Matthew Roscoe here. Wall. You have those goalies, and once there's enough video on them, then you start seeing their weak side. Even Vassy. I mean, you see the teams exploit Vassy's weakness now. Now it's whether
That blocker side was a real problem for a while, and he's definitely
Yep.
got.
Yeah, and so it's how long it takes that goalie to then change that habit that they have, and it usually takes a couple more seasons, and we saw that with Vassy. So one more thing for Carolina also has a Toronto connection because their goalie Anderson used to be Toronto's goalie also. So either one's gonna have a former goalie, a former player from Toronto win a Stanley Cup if Carolina makes it in.
We're talking way too much about the Maple Leafs.
I just love any time they can get it stuck to them.
All right, so let's go through some of the news for the Bolts, and then what we're going to actually do is we're going to grade every Lightning player's season on this show. So we got to get to that. So let's go with awards first. We've seen the announcements already for these. Do you know when the actual award show is?
July.
I think it's right after the season ends, right?
Scouting combine, draft. Oh, why don't I say that? The draft is, let's see, the scouting combines 31st to the June 6th.
The draft's like the 28th.
June 26th and 27th is the draft in Buffalo. June 30th, qualifying offers to restricted free agents expire. July 1st, free agency.
By the way, when are we going to get a draft here? You've been to a draft.
I went down to the one in Florida.
Yeah. But they haven't had it here yet. What do we have to do?
We had it here back when when it first became Amalie.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I believe so.
All right, so here's your awards. Finalists, not winners. Nikita Kucherov, Ted Lindsay Award. This is the NHLPA. So this is the players vote for the best player. I don't think he's going to win. I think Celebrini, who he's up against, has got a lot of his peers in the NHL seem to really.
I don't think so. I think he wins.
You think Cooch is going to win? I think he would win, but I think Celebrini is going to get the votes.
No, I don't think Celebrini will get him because I think a lot of your older players are going to be like, no, he needs to play a little bit more.
Well, out of the 5,
So it doesn't look like they're doing the show again. Remember last year they just started announcing them like different days, and there was pictures and they were walking out because they just did Schaefer's on like the Today Show or Good Morning America, something like that, where his family walked down with the trophy. And I remember last year, like with Hellebuck getting the 2 awards, there was pictures of them taking photos of both the awards that were leaked, and then they announced it like a couple days.
Didn't they do some like kooky social media thing for the awards last year? I remember.
No, they were just like putting them out all different places. Like they would interview a player, and then all of a sudden they would come out with the trophies.
I think this
It
is our
is not. It is not a standalone televised event anymore. Mandred end of season awards are announced through a mix of surprise video drops and
Yep.
special television specials, often airing shortly before or during the Stanley Cup final.
Oh, so we'll find out soon then if they do the same
Yep.
as last year. Yeah, I remember seeing some cheeky videos on socials, and that's how they announced them. So I do think the Ted Lindsay is our best chance to win an award out of these 5. So hopefully, Cooch has the respect of his peers and wins that one. Jack Adams, our guy Coop, up against Lindsay Ruff, and then the coach for the Penguins, Muse. Like, what did this guy do that was so special? Coached an old team.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I mean, there's a lot of people that are saying that about Cooper, but those are the people that haven't really been paying attention like most of us are to what's happened with this team. Yeah, I mean, any chance he wins?
No.
Just
Lindy
out
Ruff.
of the respect of like, hey, he's never won before. Let's throw him a vote.
Should he win? I think he should. I thought he should win the last 5-6 years. But what Lindy Ruff did in Buffalo is something, and you called him Lindsay a minute ago. It's Lindy Ruff. What he did,
He's the enemy, okay?
what he did with them. I mean, you can't take that. But we've seen Coop do something very similar, and he didn't win it. So maybe the award gods give it to Coop.
You never know, because it's just the rest of these awards are just media members voting, right?
Right.
So, all right. Well, we're pulling for you, Coop. Selke, this is the best defensive forward. We've got our guy, Tony Cirelli, against Brock Nelson and Suzuki.
Shocking he was a finalist.
So you don't think he's going to win?
Not a chance. Third place.
I would love to see him win, but I don't know. Brock Nelson. Everybody seems to love Brock Nelson. He's 47 years old and he's still doing it. Is he like 32? Because didn't we do the superlative on him for the Olympics?
And won a gold medal this year, and now has a gold medal with his dad.
Pretty sweet. Vesna, I think we got a shot at this one.
Yeah, I think he wins it.
Vasi's only won this one time.
Yeah,
So that's
I think he
kind of
wins
crazy
it.
itself. I think this might be our best shot to win. Is our guy
Didn't you
Vasi.
just say that about the Lindsay
I
award?
did. But I forgot we had Vasi on here. He's up against Swayman and Sorokin. I think if anyone beats him,
It's
Sorokin.
Sorokin.
Sorokin is. I mean, he had our number all season long.
Yeah.
So.
If anybody beats him, it's Sorokin. But I think Vasi's the winner of this.
All right, and then finally, we know this one never happens. Every year, he's a finalist, second in points in the league. Took the whole month of October off, essentially. I mean, he was playing, but just cruising. The Hart is your MVP for the NHL. Kucherov, McDavid, McKinnon.
I still think he gets it.
You think they're going to give it to Kuch?
I think so.
I just don't think he's loved in the media, and that's why he's not going to win.
I think he gets it. I think there's been so much made every year when he doesn't get it and how he's deserved it. And you've seen McDavid and McKinnon not doing anything better than him. So I think he gets it.
And that is it. I hope so. I hope they win them all, but that's not going to happen.
There ain't a chance in hell Cirelli wins.
Stop hating on Cirelli.
You might as well put Hetty as a finalist of the Norris.
We also had some contracts given out, all two-way contracts, by the way. So that means they have a contract here and they also have a contract up in Syracuse. So doesn't mean that they're going to be sticking with the big squad. But Scott, I think, earned himself an extra year year.
Yeah.
That was basically what they did. They said, "Hey, man, you did everything we asked you to do." And he earned himself another year, and I'm good with it. Do I want to see him playing 82 games on the big squad? No, but I mean, he's our old school enforcer. I wish he could fight a little bit better, but he's not horrible. So
Real quick, Beverly, the heart is from the writers. The tin lidsey is from the players.
yep. All right, so Sabarin, and then these are all crunch players, so you might not have heard of them. Max Groshev has re-signed, and then you
You've
also,
heard of him. He made a couple appearances.
yeah, actually, I had some of the stats up, but let's talk about a breezy. This guy as well. So they re-signed him, and that's all they've done. There's a lot of kind of open spots in Syracuse right now. So I don't know how they're going to look this year and who we're going to keep. But there was another kind of shining star down in Syracuse. It's weird to say down in Syracuse, but it's up.
I know.
But Peltier won Player of the Year in the
Yeah.
AHL. So 28 goals, 49 assists, 77 points. And this is what I talk about when I say, like, look at our roster now. How do we get some of that youth in there? We know that it's not always going to translate what you can do in the AHL to the NHL, but like 77 points is no joke. Like that's a hell of a season. So I hope they give him a couple more looks. And the problem that they're going to have is how do you do that? Because you have this log jam of just players and contracts where we just don't have that much room. So, but great season for him, very impressive, and we've got definitely some guys down in the system, not necessarily Syracuse, but down in the system as far as where they're playing. You've got Sam O'Reilly, so he's brought up in the chat a couple times already. Sam O'Reilly won the MVP for the OHL. So he's still playing actually now in the playoffs. And this guy, since he got traded to Kitchener, has been on fire. Like he's been one of the best players. And remember, Bolts fans,
Yes.
this is who we traded Isaac Howard for. So Isaac Howard was like our number one prospect in the system. Still might be a great player for Edmonton, although we haven't heard much from him. But Sam O'Reilly seems like, I mean, we might have got the better player in that draft. Only time will tell, but things are looking pretty promising for Sam O'Reilly. And let me switch up here because I did have some stats for some of these guys that we're going to talk about. Like Sam.
And he's under contract until 29-30.
Well, I saw Tate saying
He's under contract until 2029, 2030.
It's only 20 years old. 6'1", 190. I saw Tate saying, don't rush him. Let him develop. I don't know, man. I want to see this guy. He can play center. He can play wing. Let's get to some of the stats. So he played in the OHL the last several seasons, but this season he started with the London Knights. 28 games there, 28 points. He got traded to the Kitchener Rangers, played 28 games there and 43 points, and then went to the playoffs and had played 18 games, had 17 goals and 11 assists, 28 points in 18 games in the playoffs when it matters the most. So I don't know. What do you think? Do they need to figure out if this guy can potentially be NHL ready next year?
They're going to take a huge look at him in training camp this year. You got to think him and Peltier, they're going to look at both of them in training camp. I kind of think Dylan Duke might have lost his opportunity, and he's going to be a Syracuse guy for a while. But I think these are the two that you look at going into training camp this year.
Here's what Elite Prospect says about Sam O'Reilly. He's a relentless shutdown defensive center with physicality, details, and a clever, quick touch passing game. Moments where he's not perfectly positioned are rare, and his endless work rate allows him to impact plays many can't. He checks the hands, ties up sticks, and torpedoes himself into opponents along the wall. I mean, he sounds like Anthony Cirelli 2.0, maybe with a little bit more of a scoring touch, hopefully. So I knew Tate was going to comment on this one. He can play a lot of places, but where? Are you going to have him bottom 6 player to where he gets 9 minutes a night, or can he go to the AHL and get 17 minutes a night? I mean, I think he's definitely done in the OHL after this season, right? He's going to be at Syracuse, and hopefully he's going to get his shots here to play. I mean, if he can play third line center, I'd take him.
You might be seeing a departure of Nick Paul. You're definitely seeing a departure of Bjorgi. You have Chafee, who's unrestricted. Pontus Holmberg, who we don't know what's going on with him. Corey Perry, you don't know what's going on with him. So there could be a lot of shuffling going around in this. Maybe O'Reilly, Gonsalves, and someone's fast. Someone else fast. Cirelli. That might be a good line.
So while we're talking about these guys, let me put this on the screen. Because when we talk about just where do we put these guys, this is what we're talking about. So these 3 are going to be unrestricted free agents, meaning, we got to sign them now, right? Or else anyone can sign them. Corey Perry, are we bringing him back?
I think they might.
If he takes, the veteran minimum,
he wants to.
Maybe. I'm out of anyone on this list for forwards. That's the only one I'm maybe considering. But still,
I honestly would take Chafee over Corey Perry, but I don't know if they get that done. When we did the live block party with Corey Perry, he says he always decides during the season if he's going to play the following season, and he had already decided he was playing next season. And I think he'll break the record of playing most or something next season. So if the Lightning want him cheap, someone who wants him will get him cheap because he's playing. And I think now it's just for fun and some records and stuff like that. So I think he goes cheap somewhere.
Yeah. Bjorkstrand, I think we've been talking about that all season. Sorry, Oliver. Just didn't work out.
Nope.
And then Chafee, I don't think Chafee comes back. I feel like, at the beginning of the season, I was like, man, this guy might be poised to get a 20-goal season, but what happened? He never even really played that much.
No.
And that's because of other guys stepping up.
Yeah.
Dominic James and your guy Gage. You still want to trade Gage?
Yes, and Geeky. Package them together, get them both the hell out of here.
Stuck with them. They're RFAs. Here's the scary part about next year is you've got, that's the big one, Cooch, right?
Yeah.
That's what you got to sign him now, but you've got to figure out these bottom 6 really by next season. And then, of course, if we go over to defense, Darren Radish, unrestricted free agent, made the amazing gesture of the donation, to the hospital, which is a pretty classy move considering he's probably gone, right?
I don't know if he is.
I know, that made me think. I was like, wait a minute.
I don't think he is.
I think it could have been more of this is my going away, Tampa's been good to me and I'm about to make a lot of money. But it sounded like and I wish
there's been so many people commenting about that Boston story. Okay, number one, they can't even speak to him until July 1st. Can't even speak to him. Number two, the same person that wrote that story also wrote a story about every other free agent there is, with almost the same contract length and the same amount of money. That is what he did for The Athletic. He is the beat writer for the Bruins. It's kind of like Joe Smith of who's now with Minnesota, who used to be with Tampa, where they just start going after all the big free agents and saying, this is what I would offer, this is what the team would look like if we signed them, blah, blah, blah. People ran with that story about Boston going to sign him. Okay, he can't be signed. Tampa would have to trade his rights first before that could even happen, or they have to wait until July 1st. But
I did predict at the beginning of the year, my bold prediction was
you did
going to get traded, and it was probably going to be right before free agency. So, I mean, if we get a third round pick for his rights,
I think they keep him. I think they keep him.
I wouldn't mind. He's been so fun to watch, and this around the arena, I wouldn't mind at all. But again, like I keep wanting this team to get younger. Darren Radish is 30 years old.
Yeah, but look at that slap shot.
I know. Sometimes it goes in.
Look at that first name. Look at that first name on that defense. We need to know what's going on with that first name right there on the defense first.
Well, I mean, we heard, and we heard the rumors, but we heard directly from the big Swede. He was having some mental health issues, and that's what kept him out, which sucks. It's a sensitive subject, and there's not much you can say about it. But if the guy's really upset and beating himself up and can't get his head right, I mean, he played in that Vancouver game that first period, and he said I couldn't play after that, So it's a tough situation. I mean, it sounded like in the interview he's back, but I don't know. Are we ever going to get the 2020 Victor Hedman? He's 35 years old now. No one's going to trade for him.
No.
So,
and here's the thing:
riding out with the captain.
Here's the catch-22 on that thing. You talk about how he sucked, and then you're against mental health issues, or everything was mental health, and then you say, "Oh, poor Victor Hedman," but then you can't complain about the team not doing good when it's your captain. If you're going to excuse Victor Hedman for, which totally acceptable, good for him realizing it was a mental health issue. If anybody's friends with me on Facebook, there was just one in the parking lot at my work the other day that tried to decide a different way out than going and getting help. So good for him for realizing it and getting the help he needed. But also, don't say that this team should have done better, but then it was okay for Hedman, because that was your captain. That was how much money tied into that player that season. So it's a catch-22, because if you say anything negative, you're against mental health, and I'm not against mental health. I'm a paying person, season ticket member that wants to see this team do good and criticizes the team when they're not doing good. Just like if I was at a restaurant and my steak came out not the way I wanted, if I'm going to pay for it, I have the right to criticize it. And that's how I've always felt about people who complain, well, you shouldn't say negative things about this team. If you say negative things about the Lightning, then you're not a true fan. No, that's not true.
That'd be crazy for us to do a show once a week and not say anything negative.
Right. And it's not true. If you think of anything in life that you pay for, you have the right to make a complaint. And people are like, well, you put on skates. Well, you do, Shooter, not like they do. But no, I'm too fat and too old. But that's why I pay to go see them. That's why I pay for a movie. I'm allowed to say a movie sucked if I went and spent $20 on a movie. My tickets are a little bit more than $20 a night. So if the team sucks that night, they suck. I can say it.
Yeah. And when he played this season, and it led into last season too, it was not the same Victor Hedman that we saw grow up here. And I think age has a lot to do with that. I think injuries have a lot to do with that. I think injuries that obviously we can't see have a lot to do with it. And I think it's just tough for some people to like comprehend that, oh, this guy's a multi-millionaire. He's a hockey player. He's got the life. And, you and I and everyone else that probably listens to this, we got to go to work every day and we can't take off whether we're upset or not. So I think a lot of people, it's just tough to realize that. And with him being the captain, you carry that extra weight with you, which also maybe had something to do with this, right? So I don't know. You know what, though? Everybody likes a comeback story. So I would love to see Victor Hedman come back strong next year and just get back to being himself on and off the ice. And we need him. Like, it kills me to see Mark Stone score that, first goal last night. Huge, right? Even Dahlin, in that game 7, Dahlin was just like a one-man show trying to get Buffalo back in that game. Again, a captain, right? So we really, really could have used him, but not if his head wasn't right, and honestly, not the way he was playing when he was in either.
Right.
So, enter Declan Carlisle, who's played 26 years old, played amazing. I don't know what a G6 UFA is, so I don't know what that means for him. I'm going to assume that we're probably going to lose Declan Carlisle because of some of the exposure that he's got on tape by playing a lot and playing well this season.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a restricted free agent who qualifies for unrestricted free agency because they have not received enough playing time. So technically, if when you sign that contract, if you don't have enough playing time, instead of being a restricted free agent, you become an unrestricted free agent because the Lightning didn't play him enough.
Okay.
So he's out.
Well, he'll be restricted then, right?
No, he was restricted, but becomes an unrestricted because they didn't play him enough.
Oh, he didn't play enough. Well, he is playing right now. He's playing at the World Championships.
Yeah.
So he's getting some extra ice time. Yeah, it's unfortunate because he seems like he is a really good player and he should hypothetically only get better at 26 years old, but we can't keep everyone. So I think he's going to be a casualty of the cap.
He has played fewer than 80 career NHL games, 25 years or older as of June 30th. So it's just to get people that aren't getting to qualify. Group 6 unrestricted free agent player must meet. And then it just says allows younger buried players to test the open market.
So really, there are only 5 unrestricted free agents on this team right now. And I think for most Bolts fan, only one is a guy who's like, hey, if we can, we got to keep this guy, right? With Radish.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. And the number, by the way, if it's accurate, is right now for next year's cap, they're sitting at 13.1 million under. So they've got some space. I mean, Nikita Kucherov could say, hey, give me 13 million, and kind of have to give it to him. Hopefully.
But that wouldn't go for next season, though. That would go the season after.
True. Yeah. Because he'll still be under, what is it, 9.5?
Yeah. And it goes up. It goes up the following year again also. But then the following year after that, you have Vasi also becoming a UFO.
Yeah, and I'm going to keep this pulled up because some of these contract numbers might really affect our ratings or our grades of these players this year. Mosier, by the way, is the other Lightning player who's playing in the World Championships right now. I haven't been keeping close track, so I don't really know what's going on
U.S.
with that.
plays Canada tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Thanks for Tate for letting me know that. Uh, and it's for semifinals.
All right, so Sam O'Reilly will be here or in Syracuse. What about the guy we started talking about earlier this season, the Finnish guy, Ratienian? So he is 20, 6 foot, 183, plays center or wing. He had how many points? 77 points for the Swedish league. He was the MVP. He was the first player in, what's the actual stat on that? First player in, I have it written down somewhere. First player to score 70 points or more in that league in 20 years. I think this guy's going to be good. He's coming to North America for sure.
Yeah, but I thought I saw where like he's in the military right now. I need to double check that.
You Finnish military, do they do anything?
Dress up.
He's a skilled, offensively minded winger. So they're saying, it does say center or left wing, but they're saying he's more of a winger. Deceptive handling, ability to play fast or slow things down depending on the situation, and the vision to pull off key passes to the slot are all strengths. I'm telling you, I said it months ago. Like, this guy's got a little bit of Nikita Kucherov to his game.
Yeah, but he still has a year left in that over there.
Well, Roscoe's got you covered. They buy out his contract, then he plays over in Syracuse. I think they got to do it. He's just, I mean, he's playing with little Finnish boys over there. 77 points, hasn't been done in 20 years. Let's bring this fella to North America and see what he can do.
Hey, listen, I'd love to see them in training camp.
These guys are 20 years old, though. Is it too soon to rush them into the NHL?
Ask Celebrini. Ask.
Celebrating is a different story, though.
But it is, but you know, he didn't play. He didn't really get to play over here. Is it different?
I think he's more of like a generational talent, though. So he didn't really need any development. He was developed at 18, ready to go.
Matt is saying that's why he told you Syracuse.
Oh, for Ratienian.
Yeah.
So there is another guy I was looking up, Daniil Pylenkov. Is apparently, so he's 25. He's a little bit older, and this could be a guy that we see next year. He's not signed, but we have his rights. He's been playing in the KHL, which is probably the second best league. 64 games this season for Dynamo Moskva. 64 games, 54 points. So 9 goals, 45 assists. He's a defenseman. So this guy is one of the top scorers on defense in the KHL. So again, it's not just the guys we have in Syracuse. We've got some other guys that we have the rights to where it's like, all right, let's bring these guys over. Let's see what they got. Because, like I said, I think we got to start to bring in some of this youth to the organization. Right?
Definitely need to get youth. I don't know if first year NHLers would be good. I was looking at the top UFAs this year. Alex Tuck, Darren Radish, Rasmus Anderson, Patrick Launay, Sergei Bobrovsky, Alex Ovechkin, Genny Malkin, Patrick Kane, Jacob Trouba, Boone Jenner. They're all old fucks.
I wouldn't sign a single one of them.
No, maybe Sergey instead of Johansson and have a great Russian tandem.
Johnson's
1-2.
contract next season, so I don't think he's going anywhere.
And how about the that Washington hasn't re-signed Ovi yet?
Sure hasn't. I mean, I'd bring him in. You right-handed Scott? He is, isn't he?
What?
He's a righty, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Prop him up in that power play.
Oh, he says Malkin re-signed.
He did. 1 year, 5.5.
Darren Radish is according to what is this? To this one website, Radish is the top one on the board now. I know Alex Tuck, sorry, is number one on the board.
Yeah, I take that back. I would take him, but he's probably going to make a ton of money. I like
John
Tuck.
Carlson, $8 million. Trouba, $8 million. Anthony Mantha, 2.5. That ain't bad for Mantha.
By the way, I just noticed we did go live on Instagram. If you are out there watching on Instagram, we can't see your comments, but we're not looking. So I'm sorry. Follow us on YouTube. Watch there. You don't always go live on Instagram. It's just my account. All right. Should we grade some players, or do you want to talk about some more?
Let's do grades.
Yeah, let's.
F, B.
I know they watch this show. I wouldn't be so harsh. Okay, we're going to use the American grading system. A is the highest grade. F is the lowest grade.
Are we doing pluses, minuses, or just plain? Let's just do
love
plain
your
grades.
pluses and minuses. Jeez.
No, let's just do plain grades.
Hold on. I want to pull up some stats too, so we have some context here to what these gentlemen have done. I do have pretty much the whole roster here, so we'll start with your guy, Yanni Gourde, back for his first full season back with the Bolts since the trade last year at the trade deadline. He played in every single game, which is awesome. He was the only player that played in every single game. He only had 9 goals, 19 assists, 28 points, was a -6. What do you grade Yanni Gourde?
C.
Same thing. I think he's a good player, but I think we need more than 9 goals out of him if he's going to be that.
Yeah, but I think he did what he was brought and with what he was given. I think he got a little bit of screwed there being paired with Bjorky for quite a bit, and then when we saw him on that shutdown line, I thought he did pretty damn good, and I think that was what he was brought in for. We knew him from our Stanley Cup years as being one of those shutdown guys against the other team's top people, and I think he was doing that.
Yeah, great bottom 6 player, but I still need some more production from him. So we'll both go with C's on Yanni, and next we've got the big cat we just talked about. He might win the Vezina here in the next couple weeks. Played 58 games, 139, 2.31 goals against average, 912 save percentage. What do you give him, Bassi, this season?
B.
A B. I got to give him an A.
I thought he was streaky. I thought during some of those streaks he really was off his game, and then he would get it back. I thought as Vasi went, this team went.
Yeah, I mean, I just think back to throughout the season how many clutch saves that he made. I think it was against Buffalo, and then I think he did it again against Edmonton, where Buffalo was the overtime game where he made that incredible save, and then Cooch flips it down the ice to Gensel to win the game. Like that, just like 1-2, bam, game over. Edmonton, there was a similar series where he made a big play, and then right after they scored. I feel like, I mean, he's one of the best goalies in the world. So
I agree there.
We underappreciate him because, of course, throughout an 82-game season, he's going to let in some soft goals. But we don't think enough about some of the amazing saves that he makes, and also the way that I think he really affects the rest of the team as well. And if we were going to change captains, I know he's not a super vocal guy, at least in the media, but I would consider giving it to Vasi.
Yeah, I think Vasi wins the Vezina, but I give him a B.
All right, next up, re-sign for more. Sabarin, the enforcer.
God, that looks like Coburn in the face with long hair.
Kinda. What do you get? Abs.
I give him a D.
E. All right.
Yeah.
Why so rough on? I mean, he wasn't supposed to score 60 goals.
Yeah, I know, but I thought he just. Sorry, I was reading a story about Corey Perry. That he went in during that Florida game and did what he was supposed to do there, but I think he went too far a little bit on some of the other games.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to give him a C, but I don't like this direction that the teams went with.
So, sorry, it says Perry will not be returning to the Lightning.
Oh, breaking news? Who said that?
Pierre LeBrun said he speculated that a return to the Bolts won't be happening, assuming Perry is picked up by a hypothetical 8th club, barring a return to any of his previous 7. He'll have major milestones in store. He needs 36 regular season appearances to become the 26th player in league history to reach 1,500 games. Only Ovi and Burns are in that club as fellow active players. Perry should have several other suitors to choose from. A deal right in the line with last summer's 1 year, $2 million contract.
Okay, well, good luck in Vegas next season, Corbin. All right, Sabarin is D for you, C for me. Darren Radish, it is an A from me. How can you not give him an A? He scored more goals for a defenseman than we've ever seen before.
So if we're grading him goal-wise, A. Defenseman, B. I thought he let some people B. He let some people slip by him.
It's a tough job.
I agree.
Hopefully he'll be back. This is where it gets rough.
You're freaking my cat out every time you do that.
Sorry, cats of the world. I'll stop there. All right, this is where it gets rough because I love this fucking guy. I love this player, man. But what happened to him this season? What happened?
Braden motherfucking Point. Well, we got the F right because he's an F for me this season.
63 games, 18 goals, 50 points. Still had 50 points, but 9.5 million. Something. I mean, I don't know if it was injuries. I don't know
what was his plus minus. What was his plus minus?
He was a plus 12.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Braden Point this season. I really don't.
What was your grade?
I got to give him a D. That's generous. It was just not his season. But like I said with Hetty, hey, who doesn't love a comeback story?
Listen, one of the nicest people you will ever meet. I think the only person probably nicer than Braden Point may be Yanni Gord. But one of the nicest people on the team all around. But nice doesn't get you $9.5 million. You got to perform. And is there any moments in this season that you can remember Braden Point?
Not really.
No, no, he was not the Braden Point that we have seen in years past.
Yeah, and he's a superstar player on this team. When you're paying $9.5 million, you got to score over 20
His
goals.
hockey IQ has been talked about so much, and this year was just not good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I'm a betting man, I'm going to bet that Braden Point's going to come back strong next season. So we'll see. We'll see if you can bring that grade up, Pointer. All right. This one's tough to judge because he only played for a couple weeks. Corey Perry's time with the Lightning. I don't have just his numbers. He played 72 games this season. Corey Perry scored one less goal than Braden Point this season. Only 37 points, though. I mean, I guess I'm giving Perry a C for his short time with us.
See, for me too. I mean, back-to-back goals his first two games. Remember when he arrived? What was it? Edmonton was his first game, and he ended up scoring.
Yeah, I was hoping to see a little bit more from him in the playoffs, but some of this team disappeared in the playoffs, and I'd put him into that bucket. All right, next up on the block, Nick Paul. Injuries this
Real
season.
quick for the Lightning, Perry was 22 games, 6 goals, 3 assists, 9 points. He was a +1. 22 penalty minutes, 5 even goals, and 1 power play goal.
All right, so Nick Paul, 51
D.
games,
D.
7 goals, 8
D.
assists, 15 points, ±-15. It's not good. I'm with you. D.
The girls were saying Big Dick Nick. Well, they got the D right on that one because he got a D.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens. He seems to be the guy that is number one on the trade block. I mean, we know he's a good player. Was it that injury at the beginning of the season that really nagged him? I don't know, but he was another guy who just you had a lot of games where like nobody said his name, right? And that's good for a defenseman, but Paul's not a defenseman. All right, JJ Mosier. I thought Mosier played a lot better at the beginning of the season, and I felt like he kind of dropped off at the end.
After the Olympics?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought a little bit after the Olympics. I thought maybe that All-Star break would have done better rather than, the Olympics. I give him a B. I really like what he did, but I also he didn't think he was going into the season having so much weight on his shoulders like he did with Hedman being out.
79 games, 7 goals, 22 assists, 29 points, ±+41. I want to give him an A, but I gotta. Yeah, you know what? I'll give him an A. You're right. He played way more, I think, than he thought he would play. He was our number one D-man this season. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
The guy clearly loves playing hockey because he's still playing right now for the international tournament. So what a great piece of that trade for Sergachev. I do miss Sergachev. I loved that guy. But I do feel like the defense is in better hands with JJ Mosier back there because JJ is more of a defensive defenseman, where with Sergachev, you knew you were going to get, some turnovers, and he was just a little bit more of a risk taker. Although, gosh, I miss that guy. Snazzy Dresser, too. Give him an A.
I miss his cockiness, You don't see that with Mosier. He had that, if you remember, the bloody face and everything else. I mean, that was Sergachev. And that's something we really haven't seen.
All right. McDonough will be back extended at a lesser number for the next 3 seasons, I think. 48 games played, 6 goals, 15 assists, 21 points in those 48 games, and he was a plus 14. McDonough, I'm going to give a B.
I'm gonna give an A.
Can't
I
really
thought
argue with that.
what he was brought in to do. Same thing when I said I gave Yanni a C because of what he was brought in to do. I think McDonough did what he was brought in to do, and again, all these defensemen really had to step up this year with Hedman.
Yeah. And McDonough battled injuries too. Well, he only played 48 games. So and the thing that bothered me about him was he did not have his best games in the playoffs.
Correct.
So, but he's ours. We got him for a while. Hopefully we have this guy for a while. Emil Lilleberg, going into the season, I feel like he was a big question mark. Like, is this guy an NHL player? And I feel like he answered that question this year, no doubt about it. Do you feel the same way about Emil?
Oh yeah, going into the season, I think last year we were having the discussion, or the year before, him and Perbix,
Yeah.
like which one do you get rid of? And Lilleberg, I thought took a real big step up. I give him a B.
Lilleberg, I'm going to give him an A. 50 games, 4 goals, 8 assists, so just 12 points, but plus 15. And I think the big thing with him was he learned how to stay out of the box a little bit more, which he had to do.
Yep.
He was just taking way too many penalties, and he did
He started the season like that, and we talked about it, that someone needed to pull him aside and say, dude, stop with these stupid penalties. And we saw it. We saw him stop taking those stupid penalties.
Great example of like what you want to see with just a player getting his chances and getting better. And I'll tell you, since he met me, he seemed to his game really took off. I did tell him to keep shooting. So 4 goals. This is a tough one. It's a tough one, this guy. He's going to be on the show next week, actually. You know that?
Yeah.
Nikita Kucherov. Listen, I know people are going to say he turns over the puck. He does this. He doesn't talk to the media. Kuch is an A for me. You don't get players that consistently score 130 points per season. He had 130 this season, 44 goals, 86 assists, plus 43. He could win the Selke. I'm giving him an A, and I want him re-signed for the next 10 years.
I give him an A too. Love for him to cut down on the giveaways, the blind passes, and stuff like that. But that's something we've seen for him forever. But he's a generational player, and there's Nikita Kucherov's going to go down in the NHL Hall of Fame as one of the best Russians to play, probably behind Ovi. So,
you know what he needs? He needs some help. Like, I feel like we need to bring in a player specifically to play with Kucherov, because, I mean, I feel like it used to be Point, right? But something in there, not quite anymore. All right, so A's for Kuch. What's the chat saying here? A plus for Kuch. Yeah, Kuch is getting all A's. I like it. Controversy here. JoJo, the backup goalie. I don't know. What did you think of JoJo this year?
D. I think last year he played for his new contract and did what a backup was supposed to do. This year, I would love for them to trade him away and find, like you have said before, that B, a goalie.
Yeah, 25 games played, started 23 of those, 11 wins, 10 losses, 3.29 goals against, .884 save percentage. You know, I feel bad for these backup goalies because it's got to be tough only playing that much, right? Like you can't really get in your groove, and it's a tough job. I'm still going to give him a D because you got to play better when you get your chances to get in there. You got to like make the coaching staff question if they should be playing you more, and he definitely did not do that. So yeah, JoJo, we love you, but we love you on the bench a little bit more. All right, this is the guy that came out of nowhere. Dominic James only played 43 games thanks to injury.
Hey.
You're giving him an A? I'm giving him an A. 7 goals, 8 assists, 15 points in those 43 games. Doesn't seem that impressive, but I felt like he was, like we talked about, not saying or not hearing Nick Paul's name during games. When Dominic James was in the game, you heard his name, right?
Yeah.
So A for Dominic. This guy we really missed during the playoffs, unfortunately. And it sounded like, so it was, we called it the clavicle right here, that little bone that cracked. Could have potentially been back by now. Got 70 games out of him in the regular season, 11 goals, 11 assists, 22 points, plus minus plus one. Pontus Holmberg was one of those guys that we didn't even really talk too much about in the preseason. We're like, hey, we got this guy from Toronto. For a bottom 6 player, he was a B for me.
He was an A for me.
13 minutes.
I've been on the Holmberg train since the very beginning. I was one of the people I told Serena that I really liked, and she hated him. And then every time he scored, I'd be like, oh, that was Pontus. Or he'd get an assist, and I'd be like, who got that assist? And I think you saw how much this team needed him come the playoffs.
Yep. Yeah. Could have been a whole different story for the Lightning. All right, next one. I mean, can we even do this, or is this an incomplete?
Are we talking about his play? Because
we're supposed to. He only played in 33 games.
Yeah. So those 33 games,
17.
33 games would you have given him?
I thought he was a C, and I think that's kind of generous.
Yeah, and no, an F. The only C that was anywhere near him was on his chest. Kudos to him for getting help. I'm hoping. It's sad to say I'm hoping that's all it was, and I hope it's gone by next season. But hopefully next year it's a better one.
Well, here, this one's a little bit easier. Hagel, easy A. Easy A.
Yes. Best player on the team.
71 games played, 36 goals, 38 assists, 74 points in 71 games, plus minus plus 34. This is a guy you want on your team. No doubt about it. A's all around. I see some A's in the chat too. So
here's the thing, and we talked about how sometimes you have players that are good because of the other two who they're with. When he played with the Blackhawks, he was with Kane and Taze. He's been good no matter who you put him with. So I think this was probably one of the best trades that JBB has gonna end up coming back as one of the best trades he has done, is because this guy was like totally under the radar because he was talked about with just being that middle person with Taze and Kane. But look at the Lightning, how many different line combination he's been with, and he always outscores his line combination. And then one hit and knocks out a guy. I mean, definitely someone you need for your team.
Yeah, an inspirational type of player. Like you said, he makes other players around him better, and not even like who's out on the ice with him. I feel like he's the engine of this team. So
For sure.
can't say enough good things about Hagel. Same thing about the next guy. He just does it so freaking quietly. Like he's no big deal, but 88 points in 81 games, 38 goals, and 50 assists. Jake Gensel, he's an A for me.
A for me.
Great player. That was another JBB gem that I don't think he'll get enough credit for. I know you don't like when we say replacing Stamkos, but that's what most people associate him with. For them to swoop in, trade for his rights right before free agency, and he was the prize. Like he was the number one guy to get. And not only has he came here and earned that contract, but like he also won a gold medal. So he's had a good season.
And I've made this point several times, and I heard Michigan said, I believe he was corrected, Espo, when Espo said that Stamkos was gone for him. But technically, this was Sergachev. This was Sergachev's money that was freed up to get Jake. So that $8 million that was on Sergachev was what got Jake. Stammer wasn't getting the money that Jake gets. So it was not Stamkos's was not picked up to get Jake. It was Sergachev trade. And we got Moser and Jake.
Yeah. Ended up pretty good, that trade.
Yeah.
All right. Next one, Gage Gonsalves. Now, just a couple months ago, you were off the Gage train, and it seems like you still are. So what are you going to grade him for his 11 goals, 22 assists, and 74 games played?
D.
Why do you hate Gage?
I think he's been found out. I mean, just like I say with goalies, when there's enough film on you, last year was his breakout season, and he shit the bed this year.
Well, Nikita Kucherov couldn't score in overtime. Brandon Hagel couldn't score in overtime. Jake Gensel couldn't score in overtime. You know who could? Goncalves and Mosier are overtime heroes. I give Gage a B, plus minus plus 26. He's a good young player. We need a couple young guys like this to step up. I think he's
plus 26. And how many goals does he have?
He had 11 goals.
Yeah, so a lot was from other people that were on the ice with him.
Well, yeah, 22 assists.
Yeah.
He's not going to score them all. You got to have guys that are going to make like 3-4 million and get the job done. Play sound defensively, get some points on the board. And Gage ain't going anywhere, man. Sorry.
No, he's not cheap. He ain't going nowhere. I wish.
This is Gergensen. He was kind of like a pleasant surprise last season. This season, upped his goal number to 9. 20 points. So he had 11 assists. Played 74 games. I'm gonna give him a C.
Me too. I think same thing as Yanni. He came in and did what he was supposed to do. That's what they have him here. He's not a scorer. He's just there. He's just there to help stop the opposing team.
Yeah. You think they keep these guys together? And I'm talking about Holmberg,
I do.
Ferguson, and Gord. Yeah, they got them. I'm guessing that'll be the third line. What I want to see is
all the chat's giving Gergensen a B too.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, that's you could give him a B. I just want to see from that third line. I've pretty much given them all C's except for Holmberg. Got a little bit higher of a grade, but highest goal scorer on that third line, 11 goals in Holmberg. I want to see somebody break out and score 20 on that third line. We've got to have production from that third line. He can't just be shut down. So C for him, but that's not a bad grade. Do you recognize who this fella is? You know that face yet?
No.
Wow. You are on.
Oh wait, is it
Lightning?
just two?
Yeah.
Okay, it's just two.
Yeah. Chucky, 70 games played, 6 goals, 23 assists, 29 points, was a plus minus -4. I still think he's a liability defensively, but everybody loves an offensive defenseman. I'm going to still give him a B because I felt like he gave a little bit of life to this team with some of the plays that he made. But defensively, he's got to get better if he's going to stick around.
I give him a B too. I think because of he was somebody nobody else wanted. It was a great find. He's been the elite level at every league he's been at. And I think he's going to take a couple of years in the NHL to do it. But I think you saw a glimpse of that this season. And I think with a little bit more NHL experience, I think he's going to be a top defenseman.
Next one is, almost incomplete because he just didn't have enough time on the ice. Max Crozier only played 35 games, 1 goal, 9 assists, plus minus +7. Max Crozier, I'm gonna give him a C, but only because he only played 35 games.
I'm giving him a B because I thought when he did play those games, we talked about Crozier several times. And like we said, these people had to step up with no Hedman. And I think he was one of them that when he was called upon, he stepped up.
Let's see what the chat says. B from Orozco. I was saying C+. All right, well, hopefully we'll see some more from him next season. Always a fun one to discuss. Anthony Cirelli, 71 games played, 23 goals, 29 assists, 52 points, plus minus +38. Your Selke winner in a couple weeks. Best defensive forward. I'm giving Cirelli a B. I'm still waiting for him to break out into superstar realm, but I don't know if he's ever going to do it. I think he's just like a solid second line center. Is that what
I'm
we
giving
have?
him a C, and that's I think he's falling back, and it was weird because a couple seasons ago he was the one that was on the trade block every single time, off season and trade deadline, and then all of a sudden you put him and Hagel together, and it was like a 1-2 punch. Whether it was shorthanded, whether it was the PK, whether it was power play, they were like 1-2 together, and then you take Hagel off of it, and Cirelli goes back to that player he was before him and Hagel were next to each other.
See, I don't agree with you because if you look at the stats here, and really you only have to look at kind of the bottom ones here the last couple years, he's gotten better every season. Like this season, he didn't play in all the games. He only played in those 71 games, but he still had the 23 goals, the 29 assists, the 52 points. So if Cirelli can just be a 60 to 70 point player, and again, keeps getting better. This season is a little bit off, but that plus minus, he keeps that up. I wish he could be a little bit better on the dot in the face-off area, but like I said, second line center is what we got. I still want him to break out and get a 30 goal season, get up to 70 points.
But look at those years we won the Stanley Cup and the year that we went to the Stanley Cup Finals. Why not those numbers?
What about them? They're first of all, those numbers are jacked because we didn't play as many games.
The number of games, right?
But if you go back to 19, 20, 16 goals, 28, he's been pretty consistent. And the trend is going up. So I know that's a controversial player. I think for most Lightning players or fans, they don't really know what to think of Cirelli, but he's a good player.
Beverly, I would agree with you that he's a defensive center last season, not this season. This season, I didn't see it in him. I would love to. I was loving Cirelli.
Finalist.
Do you think he deserved to be a finalist over Hagel?
Taking away your vote.
Do you think Hagel should have been?
Yes, I do, because I think no, I give it to Cirelli over Hagel, because when you're playing center, you have much more responsibility defensively.
I think Hagel should have got the nod over
I
him.
feel like Cirelli makes the plays that we don't see or talk about, but if nobody makes them, the other team's going to score an extra goal a game. Back checking, that kind of stuff. So I feel like Cirelli is underrated. I mean, if he was consistently the last couple years in the 70s versus the 50s, like all of a sudden it's a different conversation about my guy. All right, Cherney. How many games did he end up playing this season? Let's see. Always injured. He was in and out of the lineup. He had 61 games. That's actually quite a bit for him. Only missed about 20. 3 goals. Had one of the sweetest goals of the season. I don't know if you remember that, like wraparound type of goal a couple months ago. It was like, wait, who is this guy? Chernak, I mean,
D.
Oh, that's harsh, man. I'll give him a C. Again, like, this is the kind of guy that you need. Top 4 defenseman, defensive D-man, block shots, makes big hits, is going to get injured because of the way he plays. Chernak is what he is. Is it time to move off Chernak? Is he the guy you trade? He's got some value. Played a lot of games. He won some cups.
He's one hit away from scrambled eggs.
So's a lot of the guys on this team. All right, so what's the chat saying on this? Chernak's got a C. All right, let's we got 2 more. Should be pretty easy. Carlisle, we talked about earlier. I'm giving Carlisle a B for his services this season. Hopefully they'll find a way to bring him back, but I think that's doubtful. 42 games, just 1 goal, 2 assists, 3 points, and was a +/+5. He was like that definition of you never heard his name because he wasn't doing anything wrong. Wasn't necessarily doing too many great things either, but he was solid when he came in and played 42 games for us. So definitely a B for him.
Yeah, I give him a C. I just think he was just there and did what he was supposed to do. Real quick, Nick Paul has a 16-team no-trade clause, so there is teams he could be traded to. Chernak has a he must approve any trade.
Bjorkstrand, last one. 80 games played, 12 goals, 20 assists, 32 points, ±-14.
F.
Gosh, he could have scored, I feel like, 40 goals this season with so many of the opportunities he got on the power play is what I'm talking about most of. Yeah, you got to give him an F.
Yeah, I think I heard Eric Erelson. I don't know if it was on our podcast or a different podcast, or just on air, where he was talking about he's seen that scar from the injury from the year before, and he still thinks he was still having effects from that. It could be true, but for this season, he was an F. And I don't know if you risk that kind of money and bring him back to hopefully he doesn't have that rust still again for another year.
Watch him go get signed by Boston or something and just
Vegas.
40 goals. Yeah. Yeah, he'll be in a different jersey next year, and it's a shame it just didn't work out between getting him that injury. Like, he was kind of a missing piece in the playoffs last year, and who knows if that injury has really affected him into this season and moving forward. But just didn't work out here for him. Like I said, he had a lot of chances to score a lot of goals and missed the net a lot. The goalie saved it a lot, but just wasn't meant to be for Yorkstrand. Sounds like Schooley's taking a leak live. All right. One last reminder. We're going to get out of here very soon. One last reminder. If you do want to be part of our intro for next season, send your pictures of you at a Lightning game video. We'll take that and we'll edit you into what we'll probably have finished in about 5 months. Isn't that sad? October's I guess it's almost the end of May, right?
Well, the season's going to start in September now because of the 2 extra games.
All right, so 4 months to go. I think what we're going to do is probably come back the last week of June. Most likely on June 24th.
So they're saying the official release of the NHL season schedule should be mid-July.
That's July 15th.
The upcoming 26-27 campaign will expand to 84 games and is expected to start earlier in late September, and the schedule will be published around then. Global Series, you have the Seattle Kraken, Carolina Hurricanes, in Finland for 2 games. You have the Blackhawks and the Senators in Germany, Winnipeg and Montreal Canadiens for the Heritage Classic, Winter Classic, Utah and Colorado, Stadium Series, Dallas and Vegas. All-Star Game is going to be at USB Arena for the Islanders on February 7th, 2027.
Roscoe's asking the tough questions here. O'Reilly makes the team.
I think it depends on his training camp.
I say yes. Bring him up. Bring him up. We need something. We can't just be rolling out the same roster as last year. Something's got to change.
No, but I could see Pelletier starting it. Beverly here, maybe on the team by December 1st. Are you going to give Dylan Duke? Are you going to give Pelletier? It's going to be a training camp decision. I hope so. I hope so.
Well, isn't that what – I mean, Geeky is a pretty good story of – Geeky kind of came out of nowhere after that trade. They weren't expecting him to make the Lightning roster, but he made it impossible for them last season to not give him a shot, which I know you aren't a fan of, but that's what Sam O'Reilly's kind of got to do. Like, make it impossible for them to send him out of Tampa. Right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm reading the ITC Champ 06 one more time. The Lightning need to get another top 6 scorer to help Kucherov and Gensel on the first line. Points should be on the second line with Hagel and Cirelli. Retool.
Here's the problem, though. That's only coming through a trade.
Right.
Somebody's got to go back with
And
them.
if you're talking about a first liner, that's going to be a lot of money.
I do feel like we need to get Cooch somebody that he really, really clicks with, and not waste this generational talent. So we went over the dates. June 26th, 27th is going to be the draft. You said that earlier. The RFA contract period starts June 30th. We don't really have any dates.
The qualifying offer to expire June 30th. July 1st is free agency.
July 1st is free agency. So we'll come back the week before free agency. There was an announcement for a Lightning event, I guess you could say the first of the season, That is the Bolts Brew Fest. I've still never been to a Bolts Brew Fest. Saturday, July 25th. Should we make an appearance this year?
Linda did the VIP last year and said it was worth it, but then I know my friend Ellen just bought the tickets for it, and after you get all the Ticketmaster fees, it's like $100 and something.
Yeah, I'm gonna be broke. I'm gonna be broke.
Broke and drunk.
I wonder if the Lightning would offer us a press pass, and we would. I think we would do some interviews with fans. No chance they would do that.
Probably not.
I think he asked though. I got my portable microphones. We should use them.
There we go. Tell them we'll show off the thing, and we got to get the free food included too.
Now you're pushing it. All right, let's go.
Says the one who was stealing the snacks while I was going for trivia.
Hey, when you're in the channel club, whatever it's called, and you're just passing through, I can fit a lot under this shirt. Okay, got some extra room here to fill. Yeah, that's true. Sorry. All right, let's get out of here.
All right.
We'll be back end of June. Enjoy the Stanley Cup
real quick. What's changed? Anything changed since the last time we were on?
This is a trick question.
You're a data graduate. Congratulations for your son graduating.
Oh, yes. I have a smart child who passed high school and will be attending University of South Florida. He doesn't like hockey, though.
No.
I mean, I can, if I want to punish him, I'll make him sit down and watch a game. Like, obviously, I didn't raise him right. I don't know how that's possible in this house, but
he came to a couple games with you last year.
Oh, he always comes to one or two. My DB.
Yeah.
But actually, my daughter, she's definitely a little bit more into it. So maybe I'll have her on the show next season. We'll be driving. So, all right, let's get out of here. Join us next month, the end of June. We'll have a better idea of what's going on for free agency. Maybe we'll see some Lightning moves. We'll know who will have won the Stanley Cup by then, and we hope to see you there at the end of June. Until then, this has been We the Thunder. Don't forget to be the Thunder.
That's it?